Broadcasting to you from the heart of northern Minnesota, this is the Roger Radio Show. I am Roger Radio.
And I'm Aegis on Levity of the entire band group.
I don't think I need to say any more than that. I want candy. Oh yeah, get a nice little head right there. There we go.
You like a nice little head, don't you?
Jesus Christ, dude. What's wrong with you? Anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before we get started with everything overall, I got one quick little update that I want to make. So, for the last couple of months, I've been off the air from my radio station, and I am happy to announce that next Friday, May 30th, I'm back, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a quick update about it. I am kind of wearing my volunteer top. A little shout out to them. Give them support today, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can say. But to everyone out there, thank you all for your support. And that's all I really got to say, really. So you ready to get into this?
Yeah.
All right. So our question of the podcast is, in your opinion, who is the most underrated band who you really like that just doesn't get enough attention?
The Deer Hunter.
How come?
They're really good, and no one's fucking heard of them. The Deer Hunter, Porcupine Tree, and Haken, all three of those. But especially the Deer Hunter.
Okay, I got you, man. Me, I got several choices. First Aid Kit is one of them. They're a Swedish folk duo from Sweden.
They're a Swedish folk duo from Sweden.
We play them on the air all the time. They're really good, man. Next one, Airborne is their name. I mean, there's Airborne. Now, I can't put it on the top of my head for some reason, but there was another band who I think is very underrated, who deserves more attention. But I can't, for the life of me, put it on top of my head. Well, anyways, we got another legit album review for you folks out there. Mm-hmm. And this album right here is was celebrating its 50-year anniversary this month. And I am, of course, talking about Willie Nelson's album, Redheaded Stranger.
I've listened to it 2 times. The first time I didn't like it. The second time I thought it was all right.
There is a reason. Now, the funny thing about this album here is that many people consider this Willie Nelson's greatest work, his Magnum Opus. At first, I really didn't care about it, but I really grew to much bigger appreciation for it, mainly because of how little production was added to it. He intended it to sound like this, like what we heard. He actually brought it to the executives at Atlantic Records or Columbia Records, whoever it was, and they asked, "Is this a demo?" And he said, "Nope, this is the final product."
Damn. It was a short album. It was like a half hour.
Yeah. It was released, it was recorded in January 1975, was released in May 1975, and it was recorded at Autumn Sound Studios in Garland, Texas. I can't remember if that's his own personal studio or not, but Willie Nelson himself produced it.
Not gonna lie, main thing I didn't like about this album was a lot of the songs sounded the same. They all had
Yeah,
the same sound to them, you know. The two songs I actually really liked on this album were both instrumental songs. I really liked Down Yonder, and I also liked, I think it's pronounced Bandera.
yeah,
Either Bandera or Bandera. I think it's Bandera though.
yeah.
I
The
did like
closing
those two
track.
songs. Yeah, and his vocals weren't that bad either.
Yeah, they were pretty good without a doubt. So basically, the story was that. Just give me a minute. Let me quickly fix that. There we go. That looks more better now. You can see old Jimmy in the background right there lighting up. So, just before we get started, folks, let me give you a synopsis on how this album came to be. So, a long time ago, right before he started his music career, he Willie Nelson was a DJ in Texas, and the concept for this album was inspired by a song called "Tale of the Red-Headed Stranger," which was a song he used to play a lot on his program in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm using Wikipedia right now. It was a song written by Edith Lindman and Carl Stutz that was published in 1953. And this was a song that he played all the time on his radio shows. You know, just like how I always close all my shows with "Don't Bring Me Down, Electric Light Orchestra." And it was his then wife who suggested that he make an album based on this song, or however the hell it goes. It is a concept album about a fugitive on the run from the law after the
He
man,
kills his wife.
yep, kills his wife and her lover. And he, just like with the Man with No Name on the Clint Eastwood Dollars trilogy, the Red-Headed Stranger has no name. It's never mentioned at all in this album. The funny thing is, right after this album came out, that was how Willie Nelson got his nickname, the Red-Headed Stranger. Okay, so background for this album is he first achieved fame as a songwriter in Nashville with a bunch of hits. And his first album with Atlantic was the critically acclaimed Shotgun Willie, released in 1973. And then it was followed by one of his first concept albums in country music, Phases and Stages, released in March of 74. And then he signed with Columbia Records. And at that time, he was given full creative control so he could do whatever he wants. And during his return to Austin, Texas, after he took a ski trip to Colorado, he was inspired by his then wife, Connie Kepke, to write a Western concept album, and she suggested the inclusion of Arthur Guitar Boogie Smith's Tale of the Red-Headed Stranger, which is the same song that I was telling you about. And he started working with that. The very interesting thing about this album is that the majority of the songs on there were cover songs.
Yeah.
And they
Do you want me to? Oh, go
and
ahead.
they included, but not limited to, Fred Rose's Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, Wolf Gilbert's Down Yonder, Juventino Rosa's Sombre le Olas, O'er the Waves, Hank Cochran's Can I Sleep in Your Arms, Eddie Arnold's I Couldn't Believe It Was True, and Billy Calories' Hands on the Wheel. Was there something you were about to say, quick?
No, I was gonna ask, do you want me to like read out like the story behind like the actual story that the album tells?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that quick? My throat's getting a little scratchy right now.
All right, the story begins with Time of the Preacher, where the character of I'm reading this off Wikipedia word for word. So
Yeah,
shout out to Wikipedia, you know.
hell
All right, so
yeah,
the
man.
story begins. The story begins with Time of the Preacher, where the character evokes his love for his wife, who he suspects is unfaithful. In the following song, I Couldn't Believe It Was True, the infidelity is revealed. This leads to a short version of Time of the Preacher, where the singer ends with the line, "Now the lesson is over and the killing has begun." The reaction of the husband is depicted by Nelson in a medley of Blue Rock, Montana and Red-Headed Stranger. The first song describes the double murder of the unfaithful woman and her lover by the stranger, who states, and they died with a smile on their faces. This leads to the second song of the medley, which describes the grief of the stranger. This section is followed by Nelson's cover of the 1947 Fred Rose song, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, where the fugitive laments the loss of his wife. In Red-Headed Stranger, the protagonist commits a subsequent murder. He kills a woman who merely reaches out to touch one of his horses. The horse, in quote unquote, means more than means more to him than life, because it had belonged to his wife. But the stranger goes free because it was determined that you can't take a man for killing a woman who's trying to steal your horse. The story continues with a stranger traveling south. In the song Denver, the character falls in love with the woman he meets in a bar at a bar in town. One of the lines from Blue Rock, Montana is repeated with a variation, and they danced with a smile on their faces. The following song, Can I Sleep in Your Arms, shows the stranger's desire for redemption and love. Next is Remember Me, where he announces that his vows to his deceased wife are broken and he is free to love. The story ends with Hands on the Wheel, which depicts the stranger as an old man who is accomplished by a child, presumably
Accompanied.
his grandson.
Accompanied.
Huh?
It was
What did I
accompanied.
say?
Accomplished.
Shit, sorry. Yeah, I meant accompanied. Accompanied by his child, presumably his grandson and new love. The song marks the end of the sorrow of the stranger and his redemption years later. The album ends with the instrumental song Bandera. So that's the story.
Yeah, pretty much.
And honestly, the lyrics of this album and the story it tells are really good, but the music itself is just kind of boring to me.
let me ask you this. The women here in question, or the woman he falls in love with, or actually, I'll just ask you once we start looking at the songs. But yeah, the one interesting thing about the acoustic solos that you hear in this album, that is Trigger. That's his guitar Trigger doing all the work right there.
Yeah.
And it's his legendary acoustic guitar that has that giant ass hole in it, and like how many signatures from or autographs from other bands or musicians who like used like a pin to like scratch their names into it and whatever. The only reason that hole started growing more larger is because those acoustic guitars back in them days were not meant to be used by guitar picks. You were not meant to use
Okay.
guitar picks on them. So that guitar pick he kept using during his live shows just started growing the hole more and more bigger.
Here's a dirty joke there, but I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, you better not fucking make it. Okay, so the release and reception, we're looking at Wikipedia still. Initially, Columbia Records was not satisfied with the finished product. The sparsely instrumented acoustic arrangements caused the label's directors to doubt releasing the album as presented, feeling it was underproduced and no more than a demo. Nelson later remembered that when the chief Columbia bigwig heard the tracks, he said, "Why are you turning in a demo?" "Ain't no demo," I explained. "This is the finished product." When Nelson asked the Columbia executives what a finished record was supposed to sound like, the executive replied, "Anything but this. The songs feel disconnected. The mood is too down, and the sound is far too flat. You need to go back in and polish it." Nelson's manager, Neil Reshen, and his close friend and other outlaw country artist, Waylon Jennings, traveled to New York City to play the album for Columbia president Bruce Lundvall. Lundvall had suggested that the album be sent to Nashville producer Billy Sherrill for further overdubbing. An infuriated Jennings called Lundvall a tone-deaf, tin-eared son of a bitch. When he first heard it, Sherrill asked, "Did he make this in his living room? It's a piece of shit. It sounds like he did this for about $2. It's not produced." However, Nelson had complete creative control and it was released without any further modifications. Reflecting on the album's success, Columbia executive Rick Blackburn later commented, Redheaded Stranger was a hit for all the wrong reasons. It didn't follow the formula, the fashionable mix of the day. There were 1,000 reasons that record should not be a hit, but the Redheaded Stranger project took on Willie's personality and became a hit for the right reasons. Because it was Willie Nelson. It was Willie's statement. Now, the legacy of this album was a critical success, and it cemented Willie Nelson's outlaw image, and it made him one of the most recognized artists in country music. So I was right about that when I said Redheaded Stranger made Willie Nelson's legacy. The title of the album became one of his nicknames. The cover of Fred Rose's song Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, that had been released as a single previous to the album, became his first #1 hit as a singer. In 2002, the 1975 original recording was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. In 2000, Redheaded Stranger was released on CD, obviously. The new release included the bonus tracks Bach Minute in G, I Can't Help It If I'm Still in Love with You, A Maiden's Prayer, and Bonaparte's Retreat.
I did not listen to those ones. I just listened to the original album.
I didn't either, so. As of right now, in the 2020 list of the 500 greatest albums of all time by Rolling Stone, it is listed at 237. In 2009, Redheaded Stranger was added to the National Recording Registry as it was considered that it was culturally, historically, and aesthetically important, and or informs or reflects life in the United States. This album, this album, right afterwards, in 1986, they did make a movie of the same name following the story.
And didn't Willie Nelson play the redheaded stranger in that movie?
Yep, he did. I have not watched the movie, but I hear it's good.
I haven't either. I didn't even know there was a movie of it before I did research for this video.
Yeah.
But it sounds interesting. I might give it a watch someday. We'll see.
Yeah, I know I'm definitely going to check it out because, dude, it's fucking Willie Nelson. It's Willie! All right, so that being said, we got through the majority of all this, so you want to get into the tracks?
Yeah, so the first one is The Time of the Preacher. It goes, but this is the first one, right?
Yep, it's the first track. I'm just right now trying to load my shit. It's fucking freezing up for some reason, man.
All right, this is off genius.com, all right?
Yeah.
Time of the Preacher is the beginning of a larger story in Nelson's concept album, Red-Headed Stranger. The introductory track sets up the story, describing a man who has been abandoned by his love and sets off on a journey to rediscover meaning and purpose. The Western style of the instrumentation,
give me a moment.
as well as...
There we go. All right, go ahead, dude. I'm sorry about that.
You're good. The Western style of the instrumentation, as well as the cover art, is enough to situate the story geographically, and the final verse names the time, 1901.
Yep. And here's the funny thing, dude. So you said that you listened to the whole album twice, right? You know,
Yes.
it's actually, it reminds me, for some reason, the song Time of the Preacher reminds me of the Who's album Tommy that we will review in the future. There's like a recurring theme that you hear throughout the album that really ties it all together. And I believe, just like with how the Who had See Me, Feel Me, Touch Me, Hear Me, or whatever, Time of the Preacher, I think, really is like a recurring theme that you hear throughout the album.
Yeah, the Deer Hunter did that a lot in their acts. Like, they had this continuous quote, the flame is gone, the fire remains. And also, they just have like little riffs and melodies that play throughout the series of albums.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was just taking a look. Your sister texted me. All right, but yeah, like I said, it was the time of the preacher when the story began of the choice of a lady and the love of a man. It's I think when I've listened to Time of the Preacher, it uh, just like with when we reviewed Dire Straits Brothers in Arms and that album star was so far away. And yeah, I can see the look on your face right now. But yeah, just like with So Far Away, Time of the Preacher feels like one of them really easy listening openers. It feels like
Yeah.
you so open. And yeah, I was gonna say, dude, if my dad was still alive, dude, you and him would have a whole long talk about this album, dude, because he fucking loved this album too.
Yeah.
This album, I think, is what. Actually, I can't remember which album it was that made him fall in love with Willie, but I know Redheaded Stranger was one of them. So, alrighty, so next song is "I Couldn't Believe It Was True." Last night I came home and I knocked on my door and I called to my love, as I oft had before. And I knocked, no answer there came, no kisses to greet me, no voice called my name.
And I couldn't believe it was true, oh Lord. Couldn't believe it was true. And my eyes filled with tears, and I must have aged 10 years. And I couldn't believe it was true.
Oh, the shock was so great, I am quivering yet, and I'll try to forgive, but I cannot forget. My heartbreaking loss is another man's gain, and her happiness always, I hope, will remain.
So, like, sorry. So he walks in on his wife fucking another dude, all right?
Yeah,
And she fucking hates her for it, but he says her happiness always I hope will remain. So he's mostly just pissed off at the guy that was fucking her.
yeah.
And he was like, fuck that dude, but I hope my wife is happy, you know?
Yeah, doesn't that part almost remind you of the opener for Shawshank Redemption?
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Except in Shawshank, he didn't actually shoot him. He was just accused of it.
Yes, but remember, dude, the setting of the Redheaded Stranger took place in the old Wild West era when
1901.
yep, and I think it was around that time that the old West was starting to die down a lot more because we were starting to urbanize.
Yeah.
But yeah, but basically back in those days, man, every man for himself. Plain and
Yep.
simple. You cross the line with anyone, especially in a bar, dude, and you were allowed to bring your gun into the bars at that time, dude. You make one mistake, they'll just shoot you dead on the spot, and they won't have to pay the consequences.
You can just imagine Roger just walking into Eagles with a just a big ass fucking rifle. It's like, what's the rifle for? What the fuck you say, you little bitch?
Yeah. Yeah, just imagine that, dude. The old West laws still applied today or whatever kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. But instead of just bringing a pistol, you just bring a whole fucking rifle into the bar.
Nah, it would probably be like an Uzi.
No, I think it would be funnier just to see a dude just sitting at his table, like holding a rifle, like, what the fuck's up with you? Did you fucking see so?
Right? Yeah, but of course, we would be a lot more modernized today, like OK Computer predicted.
Yeah, like I just imagine you going to a bar like with a musket, you get in a fight, and you're just like, "What'd you say to me, you little fucking bitch?"
Oh, dude,
You fucking
even bar fights would not be like gun fights, dude. They would actually fight it out with their fists, dude. They wouldn't even have to take
yeah.
their guns out. Heck, dude.
I know. I
But
just
meanwhile, while that's going on, you got some fucking dude with a piano just playing the piano music. He's like, "Let me get a jam for you guys." I could have, you know what the cool thing would have been, dude? Like, If Redheaded Stranger, they would have somehow used some of the music here for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, no, I just think it would be funny just to watch someone go like take a musket into a bar. They get into a fight and they just start like pouring their fucking powder and drop the ball and like start stuffing it. And like fucking 10 minutes later, like, you fucking say something, you little bitch.
Yeah, I just make them wait there for like a few minutes. They're like say something, they like
Yeah,
say shit, and I'll be like, "Oh, could you give me a few minutes?" "Oh yeah, no problem." "You got something you want to say to me?" "Oh, could you give me a few minutes, please?" "Yeah." "Yeah, yeah, you heard what I said."
Exactly,
"Looks
yeah.
like we got ourselves an old Mexican standoff here, gentlemen." "Yep, looks like it."
Some other guy comes and is like,
The bartender with the shotgun. "Yeah, it's really becoming a standoff. You guys pay your tabs and you take it outside. I don't need blood in my beautiful bar."
all right, so this has the chorus again. I couldn't believe it was true. Oh Lord, couldn't believe it was true. And my eyes filled with tears and must have aged 10 years, and I couldn't believe it was true.
Yep.
Oh, and that's
So
the end of
now,
it.
yep. So now track 3 is Time of the Preacher theme, which is we're going back to track 1. It was the Time of the Preacher in the year of '01, and just when you think it's all over, and it's only begun. That's the only lyric right there. So what does that mean to you in your interpretations?
Wait, did you read the like you read Time with the Preacher theme?
Yeah. What did you think I read?
It was the Time with the Preacher in the year '01. The lesson is over and the killing's begun. Oh.
No, we didn't get to that part yet.
What the fuck? This website's all fucked up.
Yeah, well, we're already fucking this episode up, people. Let me see if I can find anything for you. Every time I bring up genius.com on my fucking shit, it always freezes up my goddamn webcam, man. Probably got some fucking malware or whatever it is. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's already fucking up my webcam and I don't want to ruin it more. And I really can't get the website because it's on my hard drive. Or maybe I could just pull it up through my Microsoft Word. Because I use Microsoft Word to copy and paste like the video descriptions for my episodes. Isn't that lyric on the the version 2 of Time of the Preacher?
I know. I have Time with the Preacher theme open, and
Yeah, they got
that's
like several of them. So let me just yeah, I think I might I think I know which part you're on. Yeah, but that's why I wrote that's track 3. There is another Time of the Preacher theme that's at track 7. They are both the same ones, by the way, or the same named lyric tracks or whatever, you know.
okay.
But yeah, I say let's just continue on with what we got here. So,
Yeah, yeah. So on to Blue Rock, Montana.
yep. And you know what? My mom's from Montana. Maybe I should ask her like if it's still a town. I actually want to know right now. I'm gonna look that up. Blue Rock, is it? Because it actually sounds like a place that I, for some reason, want to go visit or whatever. Nah, I can't even find the fucking Montana map. So, you know, so. But alrighty, so yeah, next one is called Medley, Blue Rock, Montana / Redheaded Stranger. Well, he rode into Blue Rock, dusty and tired, and he got him a room for the night. He lay there in silence with too much on his mind, still hoping that he was not right. You read the next lyric. I just hit my mic.
But he found them that evening at a tavern in town, in the quiet little out of nowhere place. And they smiled at each other when he walked through the door, and they died with smiles on their faces. They died with a smile on their face.
Don't boss him. Don't cross him. He's wild in his sorrow. He's riding and hiding his pain. Don't fight him. Don't spite him. Just wait till tomorrow. Maybe he'll ride on again. So this is, Aegis, this is where he kills him, so.
Yep.
But, dude, I would be pissed too. I would be pissed too if I had a girlfriend, fiance, or wife who cheated on me, man.
I would too.
Heck,
I know
I'm a
who
guy.
wouldn't be pissed.
Yeah, heck, dude, I admit, dude, I'm a womanizer. I'm not ashamed to admit it, man. But I'm somebody who wants some companionship too, dude. That was what happened with my ex. Is that the same thing happened. And her one night stand fling was my best friend. I told you about that.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I didn't kill them. Not like Redhead Stranger, dude. When we
You didn't
broke,
kill them. Tyrone killed them.
yeah, Tyrone killed them. What was that joke from again? I can't remember.
Well, I just pulled a random name out of my ass to insinuate that someone else got convicted for murdering
Yep.
your ex.
Yeah, but she's not really dead, you know, so. I just want to reiterate, folks, she's not really dead. This is all a joke, so sorry in advance. Okay, so to continue on, ladies and gentlemen, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. And this is a song, in my opinion, where Trigger really fully came out. And like I said, people, if you don't know who Trigger is, you are not a Willie Nelson fan. So fuck you, non-fans.
I'm not a Willie Nelson fan, and I don't know who Trigger is.
It's his acoustic guitar, dude. Probably one of the... That's an acoustic guitar that every time when Willie Nelson does a live performance, he would leave his acoustic guitar Trigger out there, and people would get pictures. Like, Trigger's probably a bigger celebrity than Willie, even though he's just an instrument, dude. He's a celebrity instrument. But this is the song where you could really hear Trigger come to life. Fully. Or at least to the max. And like I said, dude, Willie Nelson even declared it best, like, if Trigger ever breaks down, I'm done with music forever. You know, it's like this one thing, like, we have objects that we could be obsessed with, like, you know, our prized possessions, that kind of thing. For example, for me, that lava lamp. If that thing ever stopped running, dude, I don't know what the fuck I would do. And besides, that's also what I call my sexy light.
For me, it's got to be this hat and my Zippo lighter.
You have that Zippo on you right now?
I'll go grab it. I'll be right back.
All right. While he's grabbing that, folks, the link to Redheaded Stranger will be in the description below. I encourage you to give it a listen, all right? Like, at first, I really didn't care much about this album, but then I really started growing a bigger appreciation for it. I think it's really rather good, you know? I didn't expect it to be as fully dubbed down and as authentic as it is. That's what I consider this as a very genuine, authentic album kind of thing, you know? So
personally, I'd give it like a 6.7 out of 10.
I would say at least 7 out of 10 for me. Your webcam's fuck. Oh, never mind. Your webcam's fine. You ended up getting blurry as hell when you walked away, and now you're fine.
Oh yeah, my Zippo lighter.
Oh yeah, that's a nice Zippo right there, bro. It
Got
really
it in
is.
New York.
Right? I got one myself, and I gotta show you quick. Hang on. It's right here in this display case that I have on display. Oh, let me clean it quick. And I know there's probably going to be some diehard Minnesota Vikings fans and some that are going to hate on me for it, but fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my Christmas presents from my dad, so. All
Well, I don't
right.
watch football or follow football at all, but I do
Yeah.
have a good football joke, but I'm not going to say it on this podcast.
Don't you fucking do it. I already know the joke you're talking about, right? All right. So, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, which was the song we were on. In the twilight glow, I see her. Blue eyes crying in the rain. When we kissed goodbye and parted, I knew we'd never meet again. It's your turn.
Love is like a dying ember, and only memories remain. And though the ages I'll remember, blue eyes crying in the rain.
Someday, when we meet up yonder, we'll stroll hand in hand again in a land that knows no parting, blue eyes crying in the rain. So this is one of the I think the first cover song on this album here. But yeah, it pretty much means that yeah, he knows that they'll meet in the afterlife kind of thing is from my interpretation because he knows that she is gone early and he knows that he'll be gone someday, but he knows that he believes that deep down they'll meet in the afterlife again, kind of thing. All right, just gotta find it. Yep, it was the first um cover song. Let me just quickly pull up the information if I may. Yep, it was a song written by songwriter Fred Rose. It was first recorded by Elton Britt in 1946, then made more popular by Roy Acuff in 1947. This song has been covered by many artists, including the legendary Hank Williams, Johnny Russell, Charlie Pride, and the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. So there's a little bit of a background story for you folks. This is probably one of the most popular songs off this album.
It is. It was the highest rated one on Amazon Prime Music.
Yeah, I really couldn't connect that well with this song, but I do like it. You know?
I thought it was all right. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So the next song is, of course, the title track, "Redheaded Stranger." It's obviously 4 minutes, and there's way too much stuff on here, or too many lyrics for us to count off. But basically, this song is it's just pretty much it's pretty much like his theme song, be like, "Don't fuck with him," and all that, and then his journeys and all that, trying to find redemption after doing the wrong and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, the redheaded stranger completes the story of the stranger's time in Montana. Nelson did not write this song, but it served as the basis for the rest of the album.
Yes, it concludes, I would say, chapter 1 of the story.
Yeah, and this is where he kills the fucking lady for touching his horse.
Oh yeah, you don't touch another man's horse. Just imagine if all these cowboys were the people racing at the Kentucky Derby. Oh, I need a drink.
There, go pee. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you go ahead.
You keep talking. I can hear you.
All right, sounds good, man. So while he goes, takes a whiz and takes care of some other private matters, if you guys haven't checked out our other channel yet, the Interrobang group, go check it out and subscribe over there today. We post a lot of really good stuff on there. We have a couple of series that we are doing on there. Condiment Roulette is one of them. We also are doing a series on there, which is a Hot Ones parody called Beer and Wings that we're also doing. We also have another podcast that's over there that's dedicated to just doing movie reviews. A lot of spoilers there, so I do not recommend that you watch those episodes until you at least check out the movies. And then we also got another series that we're doing, which is kind of like our own Jackass thing, but it's called For Idiots Only, which was based off of the stupid ass, spicy ass sauce that his mom got for him in Missouri a while back. I don't remember what the name of it was, so. But if you guys really like what you're seeing so far, subscribe to the Roger Radio Show. We do a lot of music oriented stuff here, so.
It is called Purebred Idiot Hot Sauce. And it's got jalapenos, habaneros, ghost pepper, scorpion pepper, which alone is 850,000 Scoville heat units. And it's also got pure capsicum extract,
Yeah.
which is 1 million Scoville heat units.
Fucking A, dude. Are you gonna take a drop right now?
Hell yeah.
No, dude, you're gonna.
I'm gonna go put it back. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh. Yeah. All right, so.
And he thought that stuff was spicy.
Yeah. All right, so to continue on here with our list, we got the next song, Time of the Preacher theme again, but it's the shorter version. There's a Time of the Preacher in the Year of Old Wine. Just when you think it's all over, it's only begun. What does he mean by that?
One second. I know it's just saying that the story's only begun. He just killed his wife and her lover.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's only begun. This isn't the end of the story.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, so the next song that we have is Just As I Am, but we aren't going to be able to cover much of it because it is a instrumental. So, just what did you think of how it sounded? I know you love your instrumentals.
That one didn't really pop out to me too much. It's the two that I really liked.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I thought it was okay. Okay, so the next song is called just simply Denver. The bright lights of Denver were shining like diamonds, like 10,000 jewels in the sky, and it's nobody's business. Where are you going or where you come from? And you've judged by the look in your eye.
She saw him that evening in a tavern in town, in a quiet little out-of-way place. And they smiled at each other as he walked through the door, and they danced with smiles on their faces. And they danced with a smile on their face. That's shooting back to when he said like they died with smiles on their faces, and they died with a smile on their face.
Yeah, I think it Okay, yeah, I got you. I just had to get my bearings on where the hell I was at, honestly. But yeah, it's the one thing about it is that, like Colorado, from what I heard back in the old Wild West days, was much more beautiful in particular. But I just don't know. It almost seems like, like every time the song almost reminds me of like on Red Dead Redemption 2, you'll start a new chapter in like a new town or whatever kind of thing. So,
yeah.
But obviously, yeah, from my perspective I thought that it was him falling in love with another brand new woman or something like that that he meets in a bar kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Do you think she's a working lady?
No.
Because remember, dude, this is the this is the old Wild West days, dude. Cowboys, prostitutes were everywhere back in those days. Prostitution was legal back in those days.
Yep.
So, and I don't know what it is about it, dude. It's just like, yeah, you would meet them like them. Most of them bars or taverns back in them days, they had like um brothel rooms or hotel rooms where you could just take whoever up there and just do your own business kind of thing. That's how it was. That was unfortunately the culture back in them days. And then all of a sudden, a crazy outlaw ends up falling in love with them and then ends up marrying them. There's still going to be a working woman regardless.
Hmm. Anyway, next he goes on to the song O'er the Waves, which is another instrumental one. It wasn't anything too incredible to me. It was, I don't know.
Yeah, it
But
was.
then after,
I
oh, go
think
ahead.
by yeah, I was gonna say by this point, dude, I was on my phone just fucking around or whatever. So, but yeah, the next one, Down Yonder, which is another instrumental.
That was one of my favorite songs in the album, Down Under.
I thought it was pretty good
Down
too. You know.
Yonder, I mean.
Yeah, I
I
thought it was
thought Down
pretty good
Yonder was
too.
one of the best songs in the album, actually. It was very entertaining to listen to.
Yeah. So the next one that we have is "Can I Sleep in Your Arms," which is a song that I played on one of my final Americana shows before we ended up discontinuing that. And I think at this point there was something that I found where they said it is so impressive how Willie Nelson could find all these songs that he could do cover versions of that somehow connect really well together in the story. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the scene described in the song, which was originally written from a spurned woman's point of view, now shows the stranger regaining his humanity and ability to love again.
Yeah. So I'm just taking a look at this. Yeah, it was a song written by Hank Cochran that was originally recorded by American country artist Janie Seeley, released as a single in 1973. And it was because of this song that him and Hank Cochran did become very close friends. And in fact, Hank Cochran actually did a cameo on the Redheaded Stranger movie, which I thought is pretty cool, you know?
Did you want to read the lyrics or just go on to the next song?
Yeah, let's read them. I nearly spaced out right there. But yeah, three of them are just the same one, so we'll just read the two that we know best. Can I sleep in your arms tonight, lady? It's so cold lying here all alone, and I have no hold to hold on you, and I assure you, I'll do you no wrong.
Don't know why, but the one I love left me lonely and cold and so weak. And I need someone's arms to hold me till I'm strong enough to get back on my feet. Can I sleep in your arms? Can I sleep in your arms?
Yeah, pretty much. That's all there is to it,
And then,
really. This one, I
yeah,
think,
and
is
then it just keeps repeating the chorus.
yeah, I think from my perspective, this one is probably my most favorite one from this album. Like I said, this was the one that I played on my one of my radio shows a while back. So, all right. So, next up we got "Remember Me When the Candle Lights Are Gleaming." You told me once that you were mine alone forever, and I was yours till the end of eternity. But all those vows are broken now, and I will never be the same except in memory.
Remember me when the candlelights are gleaming. Remember me at the close of a long, long day. And it would be so sweet when all alone I'm dreaming, just to know you still remember me.
A brighter face may take my place when we're apart, dear. Another love with a heart more bold and free. But in the end, fair weather friends may break your heart, dear. If they do, sweetheart, remember me.
Remember me when the candlelights are gleaming. Remember me at the close of a long, long day. It would be so sweet when I'm all alone, I'm dreaming, Just to know you still remember me. Just to know you still remember me.
Yep. So pretty much this is the stranger announcing that his vows to his wife are broken and that he can love once again. Almost sounds like a prenup kind of thing, doesn't it?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, too many lyrics on this one, but it's the last song with lyrics on it. Hands on the wheel. It's pretty much redemption for the stranger that he finds in a woman.
Yeah, it says Hands on the Wheel is an unabashed love song. It's based on O'er the Waves found earlier in this album and written by holy fuck, Juventino Rosas.
Yep,
I don't know
I
how the hell to pronounce that.
yeah, I know who you're talking about. I think I pronounced her name correctly. So,
Okay,
uh,
yeah. In his story of the red-headed stranger, the song shows that there was redemption for the stranger. It was found in the eyes and the heart of a woman. And then it says, this is the final vocal of the album, and the stranger is now an old man. He sits at a fishing hole, accompanied by his wife and a child that might well be his grandson.
yeah, which I think is a very nice ending. Like he ends up killing his old lady and her lover, and pretty much gets to live his life in peace or whatever kind of thing. Without the law coming after his ass.
Hmm.
And then the last song is Bandera, which is another instrumental.
And I really liked Bandera. I thought that was a really cool song.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too, man. Um, so to a recap here, what is our most favorite songs? For me, it would be "Can I Sleep in Your Arms."
Yeah, and as I said, Down Yonder and Bandera.
Yeah, pretty good songs. Like I wasn't really sure how this album would come out, honestly, but it actually is as very, very authentic as any album could be, in my opinion. And of course, Willie Nelson would continue his success right after this album came out. He would end up releasing like how many more fucking albums? I think, let me take a look at his discography quick. See how many albums he's at this point. Because I know he just released a whole new one a while back. 77. And this is a music career that dates back to 1962. 63 fucking years he's been doing this.
Damn.
And it's the one thing about this stuff is that, so, like how with many rock bands, it takes them like how many years to like even think of anything to write or record? Why is it easy with country artists? They're able to release an album like every year or every 2 years. And Willie Nelson has been pretty much doing that the whole time, which is so amazing, dude.
It's because like to make a prog rock album, that's gonna take like a year at least. But to write just an average country album, you can just sit down, like write the whole thing in like a week.
Right? I mean, dude, it's fucking insane, man. It really, really is insane. No doubt about it. Shit, what was I about to say now? But yeah, dude, yeah, how they do not run out of ideas, I will never know, man. You know.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you one thing as a side story, dude. My dad, he fucking idolized Willie Nelson, man. He really did. And I told you the story about when it was
The bag of weed.
yep, the bag of weed and Willie,
You have
as you
told
know,
me
is
that story many times.
Yeah, but I might as well tell it right now, man. So
Yeah, go ahead.
it was 4th of July 2007, right? My dad finds out that Willie Nelson's going to be performing in the hometown of my grandparents because we were out there visiting my Moss family for 4th of July. He heard that Willie was going to be there. We got to fucking go. We got to go. They all went
Hmm.
because Willie Nelson was out there to raise money for a local business that sadly burnt to the ground. I don't remember how much they raised. It was like good money or something like that. And my dad, being a huge cannabis user himself, he grabbed his bag that he had in his pocket, chucked it out there, and the security came to grab it, but instead they looked around. They were smelling it. They were like, "Oh, this is some good kush right here." They give it to Willie. Willie was like, "Whose is this? Thank you for it." And my dad was waving to him, and he was like, "That was you? Hey, this is good stuff." He rolled a joint up and he smoked it right there on the stage in front of everybody.
Hmm.
And my dad said to the very day that he died that was his crowning achievement, as getting recognized or shouted out by his favorite singer. I mean, he's amazing. A lot of the things that Willie Nelson has done is like so goated, man. GOAT, man.
All right. You got anything else to say about this album?
Um, just a few things. At first, I really didn't care about this album when I first listened to it, but then I really grew to an appreciation for it. If any of you have not listened to Redheaded Stranger, I encourage you to at least go give it a listen. I will include a link to the album in the description below, so I encourage you to give it a listen. Like I said,
Yeah.
in my opinion, this is his greatest work right here. So go listen. How about you?
I don't have much to say about the album. It just wasn't for me, you know.
Yeah, but you
And
got
if you enjoy this album, go ahead and enjoy it. I have nothing against you. It just wasn't personally for me. It wasn't my cup of tea.
yeah. But I'm sure you could agree that Willie Nelson's one of the all-time greatest country artists, right?
I can't really say just because I don't listen to a lot of country.
Yeah. No, yeah. If you have a chance, man, I encourage you to at least check out some of more of his stuff. You know, like there was
Okay.
"City of New Orleans." That's a good song. There was "On the Road Again." There was another song I can't remember, but that's pretty good. And then, of course, he would continue the success because he would do like so many collaborations with some of the other iconic country artists, and he would become one of the members of the all-time greatest country supergroup, the Highwaymen, with Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, and Johnny Cash, who were all his close friends. You know? And to think he is the only surviving Highwayman left, dude. It's fucking insane, man. I'm telling you, that weed must be doing something right for him. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Happy 50 years to Redheaded Stranger and Willie. This one's for you, man. You are one of the all-time greatest, man, and thank you for all the music, you know. If you want to see more music-related content from us, be sure to subscribe to the Roger Radio Show and share on your social media. Hit the bell for notifications. Aegis, you got anything you want to say about Interrobang Group stuff?
Terabang Group, I see barbecue sauce in your future. That's all I gotta say. I don't want to spoil what else going on behind the scenes.
Yep,
But
I
no,
got you.
for the Roger Radio Show, if you have any suggestions of videos to do, leave a comment down below. We read all of our comments on both of our channels.
Yep, that would
And
do.
if you have any suggestions for either of our channels and something to do, leave a comment. We might do it, you know?
Yep. I know that next week we're going to do another album review. What's the album by King Crimson again?
We'll just say that it's by King Crimson and leave it at that for now.
All right, sounds good, man. But yeah, folks, thank you all so much for watching. Cheers to all of you, quick.
Cheers, brother.
yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, ta-ta for now.
Peace.